Hello, this is Natalie Yeadon from Own My Health, and this is a discussion about New Year's resolutions, as probably many of us have considered or actually are living or trying to implement some of the resolutions that we've decided on at the end of the year. And so New Year's resolutions are really kind of interesting because, as we all know, a large percentage of people will stop or just give up on their resolutions, halfway through January, and about 95% will do so in about 6 months. So New Year's resolutions have sort of a good and bad side to them. They're motivating and inspiring for us to do something new, to create change in our life, but they're also debilitating because what it does do when we give up, when we quit, when we basically fail, is we're failing ourselves. And unfortunately, the longer we do this, the more repetitive the action or the building of the neural networks or tracks in your mind and your mental visualization of yourself, it gets you to start believing that you're not believable, that you can't be trusted, that when you say something or when you promise something or when you commit to yourself, you actually don't actually follow through on those commitments. And what's interesting is not only do other people see that, so you may actually see people when you say something to them, they'll probably just give you a bit of a nod, say, yeah, that's great. There's not a lot of support or excitement about what you've just said, because in some ways you've laid that track work in their minds as well, that you're not believable or you don't commit or you don't follow through. And so, but I think what's most important here is really what's going on for yourself, because if you don't believe that you'll be able to achieve those goals, because as soon as anything gets challenging or you don't feel like it or you just want to crash on the couch, you again give yourself that little break, that little opening in the doorway where you can escape and just give up on it. And so it's really, really important at this juncture, especially at this place at the beginning of a new year, the ability to set something on, even if it's an easy goal or an easy habit that you can implement or do something about each and every day, a small piece that no matter how tired, how demotivated, how depressed, how dark it is, how much snow is out, whatever other excuse you may actually have in your physical or in mental reality, is that you're going to do it anyway. And so I really encourage everybody to think at this point with a specific goal or resolution to follow through. And again, I really want to encourage that you don't want to get into a place what I call your sort of self-sabotage purgatory, where you're forever in this never-ending loop of disillusionment and failure because you're always just repetitively trying something and stopping, trying something and quitting, trying something and not following through. So you want to prevent that from happening so that you can start believing in yourself. You can start saying that, yes, I do commit, and I will follow through on my promises. And at the end of the day, that is actually a virtuous place. It's a place where you'll be able to start building integrity, most importantly with yourself, but then with the rest of the world in which you interact. So integrity is kind of a buzzword. We hear it all the time. What does it mean? But ultimately, it comes down to you believing in yourself. So before doing that, I think one of the reasons people also have a tendency to fall short on their goals or resolutions is they haven't really fully thought through what are the best goals to be chasing after and to be pursuing. And I think a really important component to this is really understanding the costs associated with goals. Goals, again, are not free. And, there is effort associated with it. And there's two types of costs associated with goal achievement. The first one really is about acquisition costs. So just like the idea of acquiring a new vehicle or a brand new house, there's upfront costs. There's the cost of purchasing the property, or paying the property tax or the land transfer tax, or your attorney or your real estate agent. Those are all the things you would consider acquisition costs. And keeping in mind, of course, that has to do with health and fitness as well. There's the cost of changing what you're doing, that mental strain, the physical activity that's required that your body is not used to, your heart racing, you feeling hungry and being comfortable with that little whirly growl that is not an emergency. So there are things that are, when you acquire a new goal, it's painful. Sometimes it has to do with it's not just financial, but it can be, blood, sweat, and tears, maybe spending more time away from family. It could be, ridicule or judgment from others, but whatever it is, there's a cost. And so one really needs to think carefully about what the acquisition cost for the goal that you're trying to achieve. The second key component to cost around goals is, once you've actually acquired it and you've started it and you've got this momentum, the part that I think a lot of people don't understand is it doesn't just end. Goal achievement is a journey. It isn't something where you get it, you're done, and you're finished and you're on to the next thing. And I think a lot of people believe that the next shiny tool or the next shiny toy comes along, finish this and get the next one. There's an ongoing, what I call, possession cost. And so everything that you bring into or you manifest into your life requires commitment, time, and further cost. There's further cost to you to maintaining that in your life. So thinking again about that property or the new vehicle. So once you've actually paid all that upfront money, there's still costs associated with maintaining the house. There's maintenance costs and the cost of property tax, or utility costs and repairs. With your vehicles, obviously things like insurance and gas, and if you get a ding on the car. And certainly there is, and this is the mental shift when it comes to health and fitness, is you're never there. It's never done. The possession cost is that you need to keep the wellness and your fitness and your diet and your exercise regimen going. That's an consistent investment of time for you to be able to stay in a right size body and a right size physical presence and wellness state, in a state of lifestyle mastery. Is that you need to consistently, there's a possession cost. There's a cost to be able to maintain it. It's a journey and it's not a final destination. So it's really important as you're looking at goal achievement to know that the best goals for you to implement this year are ones with the highest acquisition cost and the lowest to moderate possession cost. So it's almost like a logical equation. So as you're thinking about the resolutions that you've set for yourself this year, how high are the acquisition costs and what does the possession cost look like for you? So think about that really carefully. Again, this is not to discourage you from, buying a new car or getting the biggest house in the world or whatever it is that you're doing, but it's really to carefully think, how can I acquire this? Do I have the mind share, the energy, the finances, or the resources to be able to maintain or to possess all of these things that I've brought into my life? And where does this fit in the priority list, especially around the health and fitness piece of it? So go into this, be excited, motivate yourself every day. As you pick one of these resolutions or habits or goals, make sure you pick off on it, something to it, do something for it each and every day. Even if it's the smallest thing, it'll give you a sense of achievement and a sense of integrity, and knowing that you can be trusted and can commit to doing something bold, to do something massive, to make some massive change in your life. So highly encourage all of you to do that, and looking forward to hearing about your fantastic results.